the second quarter of action at Oak Park High School. Shager in to try a long 40-yard field goal. My goodness, he's got enough leg, and he hammers it right through the middle of the uprights. A 40-yard field goal by Brian Shager. Shager, a 6 foot, 170-pound senior kicker, really hit that one. The left-footed kicker had plenty on the ball. Actually, that thing could have been made from the 45 or 50-yard line. So a 40-yard field goal for the Fighting Christians. There you see the score. 17 zip. Nice field goal by that young man, and deep for the Eagles is Eric Williams at the top of your picture, and Donnie Huber, the guy at the bottom of your screen, is Shager. Ready to put that big left foot into the ball. The way he hit that field goal, you might think he might pop the ball if he hits it as hard as he did the field goal. Nice effort, high school effort, 40-yarder with plenty to go and plenty to spare. Williams has got it at the 10, across the 15, 20, runs out of a tackle, across the 25, 30, and then finally is going to be brought down at the 33-yard line. Eric Williams, nice return. 23-yard return on the play by Eric Williams. We'll see whether or not the Oak Park Eagles can get that offense untracked. And unfortunately, again, some confusion out there for Oak Park, and Chris Hall has got to use another one of his timeouts. So if my memory serves me correctly, we have had 3 timeouts called by Oak Park so far in this first half of play, which will mean they have used their allotted amounts for the first half. And the Fighting Lancers have not had to use a timeout. They're out in front. They've got a comfortable 17-0 lead. See the Oak Park coach out there pacing up and down the sidelines. Mark Jacobs, he certainly has got his hands full tonight. Doesn't look too happy either, does he, guys? See whether or not Chris Hall can get that offense in gear. Wide right is Joe Gertie. In motion is Stein. Pass is going to be complete. Jason Stein makes the reception, picks up 17 yards and a first down on the play. In on the stop for the Fighting Lancers was Chris Walters. You see Stein in motion there, and just a quick little flip to him. And Walters right there makes a pretty nice tackle, number 58 there, finishing off Stein after a gain of 14 yards on the play. Hall again, back to pass, plenty of time, and a receiver open, overthrows, or actually doesn't really overthrows, throws behind the intended receiver, Eric Williams that time. Penalty flags, however, on the field. And we'll have to see what the infraction was. The officials confer at the 42-yard line there. It's one of those huddles.
I don't know. He's behind the
They're trying to sort things out, figure out, well, is it offensive or defensive? Here's the signal. How about offensive pass interference? Boy, look at the size of that guy. My goodness. Makes that official look like he could be his younger brother. That's Troy Hanley, the defensive captain. And they are going to be assessed with a 15-yard penalty. Here's the call.
We have offensive pass interference here that includes a loss of down. Second down.
Boy, a real costly penalty. The offensive interference, not only is it a 15-yard penalty, but it also carries a loss of down with it. There you see the penalties. And it will bring up a second down and a bunch for the Eagles out of the shotgun formation. Williams again in motion. Hall flips it over to Huber. Huber makes the catch and gets tackled after he crossed the 40-yard line again by Chris Walters. Walters did a real nice job that time bringing down Donnie Huber. Nice offensive play, because in a situation like that, when it's second down and 25 or second down and 30, you want to make sure you get some of the yardage back, and they did. They picked up almost 10, or let's give them 10 yards on the play, so it'll bring up a third down and 14 situation, a long 14 for the Eagles. Again, out of the shotgun formation, Chris Hall. Obvious passing situation. Here comes the rush, and he is going to be sacked and really hammered, and hammered hard at the 35-yard line. Penalty flag. Actually, there you see him. That's nothing like a hammer job. You get your neck bent. Look at him. He's tugging on his shoulder pads. Guy's saying, where the heck's my helmet? Thank goodness my head's not in it. Here's another shot. Boy, he really gets it. He gets it good. I'm sure the Fighting Lancers will decline the penalty as it's being discussed there to Mr. Hanley.
We have illegal use of hands on the offensive line. It's refused. It'll be fourth down.
That's exactly right. The Fighting Lancers, because of the sack, have decided to elect the play to stand, and it'll bring up a punting situation for the Eagles. Torrey Pearson deep for the Fighting Lancers. Hall hits a wobbly kick that Pearson fields at the 30-yard line, and brought down at the 38-yard line is Torrey Pearson. And on the stop for the Oak Park Eagles is Dave Smets. Smets, 6'3", 190-pound senior down there, applying the tackle on Torrey Pearson. We're in the second period at Oak Park High School. The Western Christian Fighting Lancers out in front, 17-0. Yep, somebody beat the count. Big number 99 out there, Chris Lombardi. Lombardi a little over anxious, getting some consolation there from David Little. David Little isn't very little, by the way. We talked already a little bit about him, 6'2", 235 pounds. Really don't mean to be redundant, but these guys have got incredible size for high school athletes. A legal procedure against the Fighting Lancers. Penalty will make it second down and 15. Levin gives the ball straight over the left side to Steve Sequencia. And on the stop was Bob Wooten. Sequencia, he's a 5'11", 180-pound junior. Got back the 5 yards that was assessed on the procedure penalty. Clock continues to move. Ball given to Pearson. Pearson runs out of a tackle, runs out of another tackle, and spins forward. My goodness, he is a talented athlete. Very talented high school athlete. And think he'll be back next year. Just a junior, 5'11", 210 pounds. Got real good size. He's already run one all the way, 51 yards, the first play from scrimmage to start this ball game. And a little bit of confusion out there for Gary Levin, so he decides rather than making a mistake, he might try to get things squared away and straightened out. And the cheerleaders and the water girls helping out there. So there's a timeout on the field. We'll be back with more action after this timeout. Levin back is going to be hit and hammered as he throws the ball, and pass nearly intercepted that time by Donnie Huber. Huber that time had a pretty good shot at it. I think he's a little disappointed he wasn't able to pick that thing off. So the incompletion might bring a punting situation for the Fighting Lancers. All they have to do basically is pick up 3 yards on the play, and it appears as if they are not going to punt, that they are going to go for it on 4th down. Levin, I formation again. Lombardi and Pearson, the running backs behind Gary Levin. Pearson's got a nice move there, another nice move, and he will have the necessary yardage for the first down. Mike Friscia again made a real nice tackle in the open field on Torrey Pearson. And Pearson again with another isolated look at it, makes a good move right there, steps inside a tackle, and Friscia right there, 32, makes a real nice tackle. I mean, he's not afraid to put his head in there. But I'll tell you one thing, at his size, 5'7", 135 pounds, he almost gives away 80 pounds every time he tries to stop Torrey Pearson.
Get down!
This time, Sequencia brings the ball to the 35-yard line. And on the stop for the Eagles is Bob Chisholm. Gain of about 4 yards on the play. Clock working its way down now, under 7 minutes in the second period. The Western Christian Fighting Lancers out in front, 17-0. Levin has got some people in front of him, isn't going to throw the ball, and dives awful close to that first down marker. Levin did a real nice job that time. He was able to elude a tackle by Eric Lang. Lang actually tripped him up just a little bit, but he spun out of that tackle and then dove and lunged forward. And it's awful close to that first down marker. There's some more size for you. It's all over up there, guys. Anywhere you look, you're going to find it. Chris Walters, he's 215. David Little, number 65, he's 235. Lots of beef up there. Well, the necessary yardage able to be picked up by Gary Levin. It'll be 1st and 10. Sequencia stacked up at the line of scrimmage. Nice tackle that time. I believe it was Bob Wooten. Wooten did a real nice job that time. Was able to wrap both arms around Sequencia. And Sequencia only able to pick up a yard on the play. Here you see number 55, Mike Benjamin, the defensive captain, looking towards the sideline saying, Coach, what can we do? How do we stop these guys? 11. 2nd down and 9. This guy's tough to stop, I'll tell you. I mean, he's hit behind the line of scrimmage, but he still fights forward and picks up 4 yards on the play. Torrey Pearson, once again, able to pick up some good yardage on a play that looked like he was going to be stopped at or behind the line of scrimmage. And Pearson able to pick up some good yardage. It'll be 3rd down and 4. Sequencia and Pearson in the backfield. Pearson has got it, and it's going to be stopped a little bit short of that 1st down. Bob Chisholm again in the stop along with John Zaleski. So again, a 4th down situation for the Fighting Lancers, and they will definitely be going for it. Field goal team is not out there. They have to pick up a yard. Fourth and a yard, and I believe picking up the necessary yardage is Torrey Pearson. It's going to be awful close. Scott Hastings was the guy that applied the pressure on Torrey Pearson, and it's going to be close enough to bring the chains in to see whether or not Pearson was able to pick up the 1 yard in the 1st down, or if the Oak Park defense held. It'll be awful close. 4 minutes, 17 seconds left to be played in this 1st half as they stretch the chain, and is it or is it not? It's not. Mark Jacobs over here on the sidelines is really pumped up. His defense able to stop and hold the offense on that 4th down and 1. And it wasn't by much, but it was a matter of inches. And the inches that time were in the favor of the Oak Park Eagles. First down and 10. In motion, Huber. Pass this time is going to be complete to Williams, and Williams is going to be tackled right at the 25-yard line. So a gain of about 9 yards on the play. Check that. Gain of 6 yards on the play. Let's call it 2nd down and 4.
Hustle! Run!
Shotgun formation once again in motion, Huber. Hall back to pass, is looking for Huber. Pass is almost intercepted and going to be caught. And look at him go. Donnie Huber finally going to be wrestled out of bounds at the 40-yard line. That was a pass that should have been intercepted. Chris Walters had a shot at it. It went off his shoulder pads. Donnie Huber was back there, very wisely was able to cover it. I think we'll have a chance to see it again. You hopefully are seeing it better than I am. At any rate, nice reception by Huber. And Hall, again, back to pass, throwing for Stein. Stein in a jump situation downfield that time. And the pass was broken up by Mike Henderson. Henderson and Stein went up for it, and the ball fell incomplete. Everything here with 3 minutes and 4 seconds left in the first period looks good as Mark Jacobs there trying to get some help from the guys on the sidelines. He's not talking to his players, he's talking to the officials. Chris Hall. I'm sure the Eagles would like to put some points on the board. They haven't scored a touchdown all year. Hall's pass is going to be dropped on one bounce. Eric Williams, the intended receiver. And Oak Park, unfortunately, used, as you saw there on the graphic, they've used all 3 of their timeouts in the first half, so the time becomes a problem for them now with 2 minutes and 59 seconds remaining to be played in this first period. Hall again out of his shotgun formation has got Huber in motion. Pass to Huber, he makes a reception in between the linebackers, picks up 22 yards and a first down on the play, all the way down to the 25-yard line. Mike Henderson in on the stop for the Fighting Lancers. Again, the Eagles able to move the ball downfield. Now, if they can keep things together, try to get some points out of this particular possession. Stein split wide to the right. Huber again in motion to the right side. Hall looking for Stein. He's behind the man, makes a diving attempt. However, ball just a little bit off the money as Jason Stein unable to bring it in. Stein, you'll remember, is the guy that made the beautiful reception when the official ruled that he went out of bounds at the 6-yard line. However, I think there certainly should be some question or doubt as to whether indeed he did go out of bounds. Nonetheless, the officials ruled he went out of bounds and took back what appeared to be the first touchdown of the year for the Oak Park Eagles. Second down, 10. Pitch this time to Stein, trying to get around the right side, and gets banged out of bounds at the 20-yard line. Scott Scruggs over there, along with Jason Walter. Clock is now stopped with 2 minutes 24 seconds left to be played in the first half. Joe Gertie will go wide to the left. Stein trying to be set there. You see him in a little bit of confusion. Will probably get a delay of game penalty. Well, there it is. Somewhat resembled a Chinese fire drill. You know, one of those things, I don't know if you remember, but you were driving around. I don't know if you were in high school or college or where you were, but you stopped, parked the car, everybody got out, ran around. And I think maybe we'll get a call here.
Dead ball foul, delay a game against the offense. They call the timeout. They have no timeouts left.
Well, they certainly were running into some problems and difficulties. There you see the penalties. We're getting back to that Chinese fire drill. You know, you park, you stop the car, you get out, and everybody would run around, and somebody would go from the front to the back and jump from the back of the truck into the front of the truck, and that's what that particular offensive play resembled. As Stein was set in the backfield, and he went to the right, and one of the running backs, Todd Richter, was going in the wrong direction, and they just ran out of time. Hall back to pass is almost intercepted. Pass intended for Eric Williams. Pass nearly picked off that time by Scott Melendrez. Melendrez was right there in front of the intended receiver, Williams. And had he made that interception, he probably would have been able to score for the Fighting Lancers. Incompletion will stop the clock with 2 minutes, 16 seconds remaining to be played. And once again, there is a tremendous amount of confusion out there. 4th down and 10. Looked for a minute that they were going to put the field goal team in, but instead they're going to elect to go for it. Chris Hall. He's got Williams in motion. Hall, plenty of time, and a receiver downfield intended for Williams. However, the ball well underthrown. The incompletion will turn the ball over to the Fighting Lancers. They'll take over and have it 1st and 10 at their own 26-yard line. They're out in front, 17-0.
Get in there! No, you're out.
Gary Levin will have Torrey Pearson along with Steve Sequenzi in the backfield behind him. I formation. Pearson. And Pearson is going to be jammed up on that right side. Defensively, nice effort that time by Ryan Braddock. Braddock did a real good job that time, shutting down Torrey Pearson.
Basic! Don't get down, Benjamin!
Got a little bit of that. I don't know if you heard it or not. I might repeat it. It was basic, basic, don't get down. Basic, that's one of the calls. Basic, basic. Okay, let's see what happens with basic, basic. Clock winding down. 1 minute, 20 seconds left in this first period. Pitch this time to Pearson. Pearson gets the corner turn, makes a move, dives forward. A flag is going to be thrown at the 30-yard line. So a 1st down run may have been negated by the penalty. We'll have to check and see. The officials there trying to determine who the guilty party was. One of those offensive linemen or somebody out front there got their hands out in front of them and were caught holding. So certainly the Eagles will accept that penalty and move the ball back. I'm not real sure why there's so much indecision out there, because it's a pretty easy decision to make.
Every time I go to the line, they say I'm in the
You either give the team the 1st down or you move the ball back on the penalty. The decision was made. The ball is marched back.
Illegal use of hands on the offense. 10-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
10-yard penalty assessed against the Fighting Lancers.
Right there, Ben!
Scott Scruggs, along with Mike Lopez, split wide to the left this time. Levin, back to pass, looking downfield, throws it, and it's going to be complete. Nice. Now they're going to rule it was incomplete. Looked for a minute like Chris Lombardi made a spectacular catch at the 40-yard line. However, the officials are going to rule the ball was trapped. So the clock is going to be stopped with the incompletion. And just 59 seconds left on that scoreboard clock.
If you can hear me in the press box, we need to have 14 seconds added to the clock, please. 14 seconds added to the clock.
If there's any chance that anybody in the press box, I guess, can hear me, they ran 14 seconds off the clock that should not have been run off because the pass was ruled an incompletion. So they would like 14 seconds back on the clock if at all possible. So if anybody here in the box can relay that message down that they'll hold the clock for 14 seconds. We'll take another look at that pass and see whether or not it was trapped or it was a completion. 11. Well, hard for us to see from that angle, certainly. However, the official ruled that the ball was trapped. So the incompletion will stop the clock. However, the scoreboard clock ran
in and out of the huddle
14
when
seconds.
He has to tell guys where to go. But he can't. They got to tell him where to go.
Third down, 15, a flag flies. Pass is going to be complete. And Lopez does some dancing along the sidelines and then finally is taken to the ground. We'll have to see what the infraction was. Officials deciding what the penalty is all about, and we'll get the call, and then we'll get another chance to take a look at it. Here it is. That was the pass, and there we go. Wait a minute, guys. At any rate, we are going to see 2 replays. So there's the Oak Park mascot trouncing his way or her way up and down the sideline. Five-yard penalty on the play. We'll bring up a third down and 20 situation for the Fighting Lancers. Levin again back to pass, in a lot of trouble, runs into his own man. Torrey Pearson kind of got in the way, and poor Gary Levin that time ran into him. And Levin unable to get the ball off, and the clock is winding down now, 35 seconds. Oak Park doesn't have any timeouts left, so they won't be able to stop the clock with any timeouts. Only incompletions or getting out of bounds. And it appears as if the Fighting Lancers might have a delay of game situation, but punting out of the end zone is Brian Shager. Flags fly. It's going to be taken by Frame, and Frame is hammered immediately at the 35-yard line. We'll have to check the penalty flags to see what the infraction was. Five seconds left on that scoreboard clock. Illegal motion against the Fighting Lancers. I'm sure that penalty will be declined. Oak Park again. The
On
Eagles.
the offensive team, it'll be refused. We'll go first down.
Well, the clock will be stopped because the runner went out of bounds. However, the Eagles aren't evidently aware of that. The clock will not start, or should not start, because the ball carrier went out of bounds. So they could have time to huddle up, but instead they want to run without the huddle. And this probably will be the last play of the first half. Hall. Back to pass, got plenty of time, throwing downfield is going to be incomplete. And there's the horn. At the end of the first half of play at Oak Park High School, it's been all Western Christian. There you see it. The Fighting Lancers out in front by 17. We'll be back with the third period after this timeout. Christian, the first half. And starting this third quarter, the Fighting Lancers will be kicking to the Oak Park Eagles. The Fighting Lancers were able to score from their first play from scrimmage offensively. It was a 51-yard run by Torrey Pearson. The kick was good. And then on their next possession, a 56-yard pass from Gary Levin to Scott Scruggs. And the kick also was good. The ball is bobbled for a minute and brought to the ground at the 31-yard line is number 31, Donnie Huber. And then in the second period, Brian Shager banged a 40-yard field goal right through the middle of the uprights, and that's been our scoring in the first half. It's been all Western Christian. The Eagles had one major threat, which was stopped at the 4-yard line. They actually possibly got a bad call as Williams comes in motion. Hall, pass intended for Williams. Incomplete. The play we were mentioning was a pass play that Jason Stein caught, ran down the sidelines, and there was a missed tackle and some chalk came up. The official ruling that the receiver went out of bounds. However, I'm not so sure that he went out of bounds, and that would have been Oak Park's first touchdown on the year. They have played 2.5 football games and have not scored a touchdown yet. Last week they lost 27-0. They lost in their season opener 35-3. In motion is Stein. Hall back to pass, in trouble, runs out of one tackle, but then finally is going to be tripped up and dives towards the line of scrimmage. And getting up from the bottom of the stack is number 55, Jim Shager. Shager, a 5'11", 190-pound senior from linebacker position. See Mark Avestesian there on the sideline. So actually, Hall lost a yard on the play. Passing down once again for the Eagles. Instead, they elect to run the ball. And taking the ball forward is number 43, Todd Richter. And Richter gets all the way across the 50 down to the 46-yard line. Nice run that time by Richter. Looked for a minute like he was just kind of working his way slowly over the line of scrimmage, and then all of a sudden he shifted gears and cut downfield. Nice pickup on the play. Let's take another look at it.
Good job, Richter!
Richter right there next to Hall gets the handoff, and all of a sudden, bam, good cut there, and is able to go downfield and get all the way down to the 46-yard line of Western Christian. Nice bit of running that time by Todd Richter. Richter, 5'10", 170-pound junior.
Come on, Davey!
Huber in motion this time. Hall out of the shotgun. Got plenty of time. Throws the ball to Huber. Huber drops it. Defensively, George Kazaks was over there for the Fighting Christians. Or check that, not the Fighting Christians. How about the Fighting Lancers from Western Christian High School in Covina. Kind of does remind you a little bit tonight of a David and Goliath if we want to start talking about biblical things, and I'm sure we probably don't want to do that. David and Goliath, and Stein goes to the ground behind the line of scrimmage as the Western Christian Lancers really outweigh and are certainly a more dominant force than the Oak Park Eagles. The Eagles having to try to finesse themselves through this ball game, whereas the Fighting Lancers are just basically reacting and working off of brute strength. Huber again in motion. Hall, a lot of time, can't find a receiver and is going to run it himself. And Hall gets spun to the ground at the 41-yard line. Chris Hall, a 6 foot, 165-pound junior, unable to pick up the yardage for the first down, so he will step back behind center and see if he can't put his right foot into the ball. Low snap, flags fly everywhere. And nice tackle by Avestesian. Mark Avestesian did a nice job tackling Torrey Pearson. And Pearson a little slow and shaken up on the play just a little bit. The officials at the 35-yard line discussing the penalty infraction. Referee. Low snap, flags fly everywhere. And nice tackle by Avestesian. Mark Avestesian did a nice job tackling Torrey Pearson. And Pearson a little slow and shaken up on the play just a little bit. The officials at the 35-yard line discussing the penalty infraction. Referee now going to try to get things sorted out. Here's the call.
We have illegal procedure. The left end was not within 15 yards of the ball at the snap.
The call is a legal procedure. The left end, or the guy on the wide side of the left side of the scrimmage, was not 15 yards from his nearest player. Mark Avestesian actually ran out at the last minute and was about a yard or two away from the sideline. However, the officials are ruling, as Mark Jacobs there, a little bit exercised by the call, is trying to figure out exactly why there was a penalty flag. He's saying, wait a minute, why does he have to be 15 yards from the end of the line of scrimmage? Well, all that's going to be for naught, because the Eagles are going to have to do it all over again. So the illegal procedure penalty, 5 yards, and Chris Hall trots back out onto the field. They had the Lancers down around the 5-yard line, and let's see what happens this time. Hall will hit the ball at about his 45-yard line. Low snap, fields it on one bounce, and again a nice kick by Hall that Pearson fields at the 6. Reverses his field, and Avestesian really got hammered. Nice block downfield, number 85, Brian Block, did exactly that on Mark Avestesian. Avestesian went down there and was trying to tackle Torrey Pearson, and Brian Block really nailed Mark Avestesian. Western Christian, 1-1 on the year. The Oak Park Eagles, 0-2, and things don't look good out here tonight. Gary Levin has got Chris Lombardi and Torrey Pearson behind him. Flags fly, and Pearson is going to be wrestled to the ground as he crossed the 30-yard line. And on the stop for the Eagles was Ryan Braddock. However, penalty flags could be a procedure call. They're going to be calling an illegal participation as the official, and there you see Mr. Pearson. Pretty good size, got good speed. He's already got one touchdown run of 51 yards on the night. And we've talked all night long about the Oak Park touchdown, the one and only that they've had on the year. And I think maybe if we get another opportunity, well, let's take a look at it and see, as you'll hear the call here, illegal participation.
Illegal participation, 12 men on the field participating on the defense. First down.
Boy, there's no way he went out of bounds. I agree with you guys down in the truck. And unfortunately, the Eagles have not scored any touchdowns. That was really the only one they've scored all year. However, the officials ruling that he went out of bounds, and I'm sure he saw the chalk fly from Scott Scruggs when he went out of bounds. Illegal participation, 12 men on the field. First down and 10 for the Fighting Lancers. Pearson gets the pitch again. Gets turned around the corner and dives for a first down, and another flag is thrown. This thing is really starting to get sloppy. Clock is stopped. That'll be a large infraction against Western Christian. It'll be a 15-yard penalty. Clock is stopped with the penalty. 7 minutes, 42 seconds remaining to be played in this third period. Take a look at those penalties. Pretty close, I would say. Although you're going to have to add 15 more yards here for Western Christian, I think. As the officials trying to sort things out at the 45-yard line, they'll move the ball back to, depending on where the flag was thrown, they'll move it back more likely to the 30-yard line. Next week, the Oak Park Eagles will take on Carpinteria. That game will be, I believe, Thursday. It'll be a Thursday game at 8 o'clock. Here's the call.
Got a clip against the offense. It'll be first down.
And it was a clipping call, and the ball is marked back to the 30-yard line, so it'll bring up a first down and 15 situation for the Fighting Lancers. Mike Henderson split wide to the right. Ball given straight ahead and tackled behind the line of scrimmage for one of the few times tonight. Torrey Pearson was wrestled to the ground by Bob Chisholm. Chisholm did a real nice job that time, making good penetration, and was able to stop Torrey Pearson for no gain. That actually a major accomplishment in itself, because he has been all over the field tonight. Gary Levin, just 5'7", 140-pounder. He's a junior, not a big one, but he's been on the money when he's thrown the ball. Here comes Pearson. And boy, here's the shoulder pads and the helmet's cracking down there, as Pearson's not afraid to stick it in there. And also not afraid to put it in there was Ryan Braddock. Good contact that time.
10.
It'll be a third down facing Western Christian. Is Mike Lopez checks into the ball game. As you see Mike Benjamin there looking over to the sidelines to get the defensive call. Mike, 6'1", 200-pound sophomore, out there in the middle of things for the Oak Park Eagles. He's had his hands full tonight. Levin again back to pass. Got some time and a receiver, and it's going to be complete. And taking the ball across the 50-yard line to the 44-yard line is Chris Lombardi.
He's taken down by Donnie Huber. That's a first down for...
Donnie Huber making the stop for the Oak Park Eagles. Clock is stopped as Chisholm, check that, as Lombardi went out of bounds. Just under 6 minutes left in this third period. Scott Scruggs comes wide to the right, I formation. Lombardi and Pearson behind Levin. Pearson again runs out of a tackle and then is going to be bulldogged. And a pretty nice tackle that time. Again, Ryan Braddock. Braddock, a 6'1", 175-pound senior, did a real nice job. We'll get another chance to see it. And Braddock this time, rather than going low, will hit him high. Good little move there, and he kind of goes for the ride, but he's able to get him down. Ryan Braddock credited with the tackle that time. Second down, 4 for Western Christian. Levin, play action pass, looking for Scruggs, and Scruggs out there. However, the ball thrown outside. Scruggs was looking inside, and Levin was a little bit off the money, incomplete. Mike Frisha defensively was there on the coverage for the Oak Park Eagles. Third down. Let's call it a long 4 as Gary Levin pitch this time to Pearson. Pearson spins out of one tackle and then gets nailed. And I believe it was number 51 in there on the stop. Scott Hastings did a real good job that time. Pearson tried to step out of a tackle and spin his way around, and as he was turning downfield, Hastings was right there and made a nice tackle. Stopped him short. There you see the scoreboard winding its way and working its way down. 4 minutes, 30 seconds in the third.
Be taken into custody. You can call a parent or a lawyer and